Hold the phone. The Niners just made a move for an athletic freak. I'm going to be telling you about it in this video. Plus, I've got an inside look that you're not going to want to miss onto why the New England Patriots got rid of this guy and why he's going to be a great addition to the 49ers. All of that is coming, and you're going to love the inside look because I just watched it. I just got it from my buddy, and I'm super stoked about it. Let's hit subscribe if you're looking for more 49ers content like this, as always. And let's jump straight into it. Starting with your question today, let me know how you're feeling about the pick swap, the 2026 6th round, 7th round pick swap in order to bring in Keon White, a defensive end, a guy that we desperately need, former second rounder, 6'5", 285, a freak athlete, 9.81 RAS, if I'm not mistaken, a frame that can kick inside with versatility that the Niners absolutely love. And he's not a good fit in New England, which actually, it's got feelings, not the same, but it's got feelings of the Bryce Huff move, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. But first, we got to get to my guy, Aaron, who's going to give you the inside scoop as to why the New England Patriots, and he covers the Patriots, he's a fan of the Patriots, so he's got a good perspective on this, why the New England Patriots let go of this guy, why there's upside, why this could work out for the Niners. So let's jump over to what my buddy just sent me a moment ago.
What's up, Nate? Keon White shipped over to the San Francisco 49ers for what, a couple of measly draft picks. Again, you look at that right there and you see the value the Patriots have in him. A once promised second round pick for the Patriots out of Florida State. A lot of potential. Last year kind of started off hot, but then as injuries started just coming out of nowhere for the Patriots in the Gerard Mayo era, they needed him more as a almost like an outside linebacker, and that was just not what he could do. The Patriots, they brought in Harold Landry III from the Titans to reunite him with Mike Vrabel as well. They brought in KC Chason. He was a undrafted free agent. No, he wasn't. He was a first-round pick by the Jags, but he was on the Raiders last year. He was a unrestricted, that's the term I want, Nate, unrestricted free agent, and he was picked up, and he has emerged as one of our best edge rushers for this team. So the Patriots have not got a lot of production out of Keon White when they have these two in front of them. And I will tell you, Keon White, a lot of people projected as the starter in front of Chason. Chason just overtook him. Other day he had a game where he had 2 sacks and he had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. The man is a menace. But Keon White, in the right place, maybe he'll dominate. But for the Patriots, a lot of people saw him more, again, as that traditional defensive edge rusher and or defensive end as opposed to almost like a defensive end hybrid outside linebacker, edge rusher. A lot of people see him more doing well in the interior defensive line. And again, we got another guy, Tonga, who came in defensive tackle number 3 for the Patriots behind Mykel Williams as well as Christian Barmore, and he's been balling out as well. So again, Keon White, it's just one of those things. He's not a fit in New England. He might be a fit in San Francisco. Best of luck to you. I know you guys need some edge rushers. So, yeah, have fun. We'll talk later.
Thank you, Aaron. Awesome from Aaron. Fantastic review. And, you know, he had 5 sacks last year. Aaron's not wrong. He did start off really strong. We saw him, by the way, against the Niners. We played the Patriots, if you remember, in that game. That was a get-right game for the 49ers, but I don't want to get off track here. Keon White is a guy who ends up, and when I say he's similar to a Bryce Huff situation, what I mean by that is Bryce Huff was a guy who did not fit in Philadelphia. He didn't fit there because of what they wanted to do with him that really wasn't his particular skill set. Keon White is not Bryce Huff in terms of skill set. They may be the same position, but the ability of Keon White is to do what you kind of have always wanted Yetur Gross-Matos to do as well, which is you are an edge guy that can kick inside. You love that flexibility. He's got that 285-pound, 6'5" frame that can do both of those positions. Again, it's a versatility that the team wants. And the 49ers aren't looking for him to be an outside linebacker kind of guy. That's what they did wrong with Bryce Huff in Philadelphia. And I think the 49ers are going to get something that's most important they're going to get depth. They're going to not depth, excuse me. They are going to get depth. When everyone's healthy, he's depth. But they're getting a guy who's a solid player, who has produced in the league, and he's 26 years old. Huge upside for a guy of his athleticism. He's still on a rookie contract. That's a massive, massive value add for the 49ers through next year. So next year becomes his contract year, or I guess this is technically his contract year, but next year becomes his make it or break it year. If he doesn't produce this season, he has one more shot to do it. He's still on your books. He's not on your books. He's on your books, but it's not a big hit on your books like a big trade for a big money guy would be. So is this the edge rusher everyone's been dreaming that the 49ers would bring in? No, he's not a Trey Hendrickson. He's not a world beater, but he is a solid plug and play player. Quick pause in the video so I can tell you about a message from my partners over at DraftKings Sportsbook. They want to give new customers today a very unique opportunity that I think you're going to want to hear about. New customers can sign up today, place a $5 bet, and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Plus, they're throwing in 3 months of NBA League Pass 2. You can lock in that offer right now using my promo code STSF. The action in football right now, as you know, is unreal, and basketball action is just around the corner. You may be interested in making things even more interesting with same-game parlays, futures, you name it. Your favorite players are taking to the gridiron and throwing it down on the court, and I'm sure you're going to be excited about every single second of it. And whether you're looking ahead to the most electric matchups or if you're getting in the middle of the action, the only sportsbook you need right now is DraftKings Sportsbook. Using my promo code STSF, you can turn $5 into $300 if your bet wins, paid instantly in bonus bets. Plus, DraftKings is going to throw on top of that 3 months of NBA League Pass. That's amazing. The crown is yours. You need a guy like that. He's played 40% of the snaps so far this season for the New England Patriots, has not come up with a sack yet, and part of that coming down to this new era New England Patriots and how they're scheming and how he's not really fitting in with all the other guys they brought in and the production they're getting out of them. So that's the short report, if we could summarize it all down for you from my guy Aaron over in New England. Now, as we're talking about that, okay, what does this mean for the 49ers long term? Okay? It doesn't have to mean anything. That's the beauty of the move. It doesn't have to mean anything. It's a solid decision, a solid move, a pick swap on a team that the 49ers seem to be really good in the 7th round. I don't know how they continue to be so good in the 7th round, and at times it feels like really struggle in some of the earlier rounds. But in attending Keon White, says David Lombardi, for a 6th, 7th pick swap, he put 26, 27. I don't think that's right. I think it's just 2026. Everything I've read is just 2026. But I think that's a typo, if I'm not mistaken. But whatever. 49ers make exactly the type of defensive end trade that we expected them to open with. Low cost, upward potential, and under contract through 2026. So you like the move for the 49ers. It comes on the heels of another move that happened today, which is the Panthers signing outside linebacker Trevis Gibson, defensive end for the 49ers this year off of the practice squad. The 49ers had used up all of their elevations, and so they could not elevate him. They either had to put him on the 53 or he was gone, and he's gone. So you also get a body replacement for Trevis Gibson, who has had to be more valuable to the 49ers than they anticipated him needing to be at the beginning of the season when they brought him in. Trevis Gibson had 3 pressures and 50 pass rushing snaps this season. Clearly seems like the 49ers didn't care to convert him into a full-time 53-man roster spot, which they did not. Instead, they were interested in doing a little bit of a deal with the New England Patriots to make it all make sense. Nick Wagner, 49ers get absolutely no pass rush against Houston, then lose one of the guys who contributed to that lack of pass rush, and it's apparently a big deal because people were freaking out, if we're fair. Yes, they need healthy bodies on the defensive line, but there are others that can try who might do better simply because they can't be much worse. They brought in several guys, by the way. They brought in several individuals today. One of them, a name that you'll recognize, Clelin Ferrell. They brought him back in to get a look at him, so we'll see what happens as the 49ers are still needing depth. There's no doubt about that. They're still needing depth. You got multiple guys who got banged up during the game from your defensive line who are all day-to-day, so you're hoping that they're going to be able to turn it around by Sunday. But, yeah, the 49ers can't just rest on their laurels and hope that injury situations work out for the better, because we've seen how the injury situations have worked out for the 49ers this year. If you're looking at odds or anything like that, you're done playing that game where you're like, you know, what are the chances another guy gets injured at this point? Because for the 49ers, those odds have never worked in their favor in the last decade. I wanted to kind of turn a little bit here. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, of course, about the move. I'm kind of curious here what you guys think about this as well. The rookie snap counts for the 49ers this season. You've seen this before, of course. There's lots of guys on here, guys like Nick Martin we've talked a lot about. Jordan Watkins gets his first shot this week. But, you know, we got to take our hat off for a second for some guys like Marquise Siegel and Connor Colby, who played a lot more ball than we really wanted them to have to play at the beginning of the season. They're rookies. They should be developing. If you're going and getting a guy in the first, second round, I get it, right? You want them to play right away. I understand that. And you got Nick Martin in there, and people are going to be angry. Like I said yesterday, I trust the 49ers. I trust the organization and how they handle linebackers, because they've done it so well for so many decades that I'm not going to push back on how the Niners decide to manage the linebacker position right now. But I do, I look at Upton Stout, and he's had some ups and downs, no doubt, as any rookie should. But he's come in and he's filled a role at the very beginning of the season as the nickel that has been pretty impressive. Chase Lucas, by the way, has done a decent job as well, filling in for him when he's been injured. Alfred Collins is a guy that did not get any time in OTAs because of injury, and the contract situation. Finally gets in training camp and is working from behind the eight ball from the very beginning, has started to have some big moments like that punch out against the Rams. And so I like the long-term potential of a lot of these players, but they're rookies. This is a team that has had to work off of rookies. One of them continues to be in the top 5 range of pressure leaders among rookie edge rushers, and his name is Mykel Williams. No, Mykel Williams is not producing in the way that all of us would love and dream that he would produce, but you have to give him at least this credit. When you pair him up against everybody else, minus Abdul Carter, who was never in the range for the 49ers, people were kidding themselves thinking Abdul Carter was going to go to the 49ers. When you look at all the other guys out there, you're like, hey, Mykel Williams, not so bad considering everybody else around you, okay? Now, you can argue you don't like the pick. That's fine. I have no problem with you saying that. That's part of being a sports fan. Say you don't like the pick. That's cool. But you got to give him a little bit of credit there, okay? Mykel is a very young player, says Danny G. Only turned 21 in June. I like where he's at as a rookie. Know he's got work to do as a pass rusher, but there's potential there, and he's already a grown man in the run game. Let's see where he is by year 3 and 4, which is how you should grade all draft picks. And that's not to say that the 49ers have been perfect in draft picks, but it is to say that we are often pretty quick to judge how good these draft picks are, as if it's a forever thing. So there you go. 5 days away from the New York Giants coming to town. You got a new guy coming into town from the New England Patriots, and that is a former second-rounder, 6'5", 285, athletic player who's versatile, can play in multiple positions on the defensive line, and that is right in the wheelhouse of what the 49ers have tended to be looking for, tended to be going for. Mykel Williams, CJ West, Yetur Gross-Matos, guys who have different abilities and can move along the line in different positions when needed. And it's not to fill a job. I think it's to fit a scheme, which is a completely different thing. Completely different thing. You're not bringing Keon White in because you're like, well, if our DT goes down, we can put him in there. That's maybe a nice bonus, I suppose, if you want to go there. I think it's more so about what you want this defensive line to be able to do, what they give you, what their weapons are that you can move around and shape and play chess with. That's where I'm at. Let me know where you're at in the comments. As always, appreciate you guys and hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday night.